Civil Code of Quebec, Division 5, Effects of a Contract. Effects of contracts between parties. Article 1433. A contract creates obligations and, in certain cases, modifies or extinguishes them. In some cases, it also has the effect of constituting, transferring, modifying, or extinguishing real rights. Modification, a change to something, an alteration, a contract modification. Extinguish, to bring to an end, to put to an end, to terminate or cancel, to put out or strike or stifle. So, to extinguish is to bring to an end. Transfer, to convey or remove from one place or one person to another, to pass or hand over from one to another, especially to change over the possession or control of. Transfer. Quebec Civil Code, Article 1412. The object of a contract is a juridical operation envisaged by the parties at the time of its formation, as it emerges from all the rights and obligations created by the contract. So, the object of a contract is a juridical operation. So you see that, very clear. Quebec Civil Code, Article 1412. The object of the contract is the juridical operation. Now notice this terminology, the juridical operation. That's just meaning what's the reason for the contract. So every contract that they present to you, it's presented to for a legal application, a juridical operation. Qualities and defects of consent. Article 1399. Consent may be given only, so there's a condition. Consent may be given only in a free and enlightened manner. So you must be free and enlightened first before you can give consent to anything. It may be vitiated by error, fear, or lesion. So, Quebec Civil Code again, it says Article 1399, consent can only be given in a free and enlightened manner. So anyone who's seeking your consent for your juridical personality, to yoke your juridical personality to rules or regulations, they're not trying to create a contract with you in an enlightened manner. They're hiding the fact that you're a juridical personality. So it says that in the same code, Article 1399, that fear and error, it cancels out the contract, your agreement to the contract. So as I said before, a free man says that I'm operating under protest and duress, which means I'm operating under fear or error or being forced to operate that way. So your article you're drawing from is 1399 and the Quebec Civil Code. 1401. Error on the part of one party induced by fraud committed by the other party or with his knowledge vitiates consent whenever, but for that error, the party would not have contracted or would have contracted on different terms. Article 1403, still talking about contracts. Fear, induced by abusive exercise of a right or power or by threat of such exercise, vitiates consent, which means it removes your once given consent. So fear, induced by abusive exercise of right or power or by threat. So when a free man says under protest and duress, here in Quebec Civil Code, you're actually referring to 1403, the article. Capacity to contract. The rules relating to the capacity to contract are laid down principally in the Book on Persons. Quebec Civil Code, Article 1409, it states, the rules relating to the ability to contract. You'll find them in the Book on Persons, Chapter 1 on the Code. So if you're looking for how a juridical personality can contract, or how a man in the title of a human can contract, you're going to find that in the Book of Persons, in the same code. Here in Quebec, when you send notices or contracts, the common intention of the parties rather than adherence to the literal meaning of the words, shall be sought in interpreting a contract. So the whole of your contract, the whole of what you are trying to say, will be used to interpret what you are trying to say, and not just individual words. Exchange of consents. The exchange of consents is accomplished by the express or tacit manifestation of the will of a person to accept and offer the contract made to him by another person. So the exchange of consents is accomplished by the express or tacit manifestation of the will. Black Laws Dictionary, Legal Dictionary. Tacit, implied but not actually expressed. Implied by silence or silent acquiescence, a tacit understanding, arising by operation of law, constructive. So, you can get a tacit agreement if someone doesn't answer you, if they're silent about what you send them. Quebec Civil Code, Article 1413. A contract that's prohibited by law is void and null. So if someone's trying to yoke a contract to your legal person, and you've declared yourself to be a man, and you're operating as a man, then that's a contract that's prohibited by law, and you have a remedy, and you can exercise your right. Quebec Civil Code, Article 1433. Contracts, they transfer, modify, and extinguish real rights to property. So it's in the game of contracts that your real rights to your property are being extinguished, modified, or transferred to the legal person of the city. So when they send you a municipal taxation account, whoever owns the property in any municipality around Quebec, what they're doing is they're actually trying to transfer property rights away from you, the man, and place it upon your juridical personality or your legal person, because the contract that they're sending you, it falls under the Quebec Civil Code 1433, which says that a contract can transfer, modify, or extinguish real rights to property. So they're sending you your tax account under the Article 1433, and they're trying to transfer your rights away from the man and give it back to the legal person. That's the operation and the envisionment of that contract called the tax account that they send to you without telling you. So please, here in Quebec, don't fall for this trap that's going on, or for this misconfusion that's going on. There are some people who are claiming, who are writing on the internet, that a man cannot have any rights to real property. That is impossible. That once you register your property, that it becomes the ownership, or it becomes the property of the state, and a man can never get it back. That is not true. What they are doing is they are sending you contracts, and by you accepting that contract, they are removing your right of ownership, or they are removing your ownership as a man and returning it to you as a legal person. But you are under no obligation to accept these contracts. And as you've seen in the Quebec Civil Code, it says that some of these contracts that they're sending you, they modify and they extinguish and they transfer your real rights. Example, when you bring your car to the SAAQ and you register your car with the SAAQ, you are actually transferring your rights to your property to the government, and they are returning you a limited ownership of your own vehicle in the form of a legal person. This is going on all around us. The fact that they're removing our rights away from the man and returning it to us as a legal person. But that in no way leaves it that we cannot own anything as a man and woman. I go against that thought that is out there right now. As you've seen in law, you have the right to not contract. You have the right to refuse what they're trying to do to you. And even if you have registered your property, by declaring to them that you are a man and canceling that contract for any reason that was stated today in this video, I gave you multiple reasons, your rights return back to you as a man.